On today's video, we're going to go through a microscopic inspection of corners, edges, and surfaces of cards so that we can decide what to keep raw and what to grade. I hope you guys enjoy the show.
Alright guys, and welcome back today. So, we're going to go through a final inspection. These cards today are for Brian, and Brian, I appreciate you, man. It's been well over a year since we've been working together. Brian's always got some pretty cool cards sent my way, and today we're going to share them with you. I think a lot of you guys will actually enjoy this just because it's ultra modern, and I know people are really into the downtowns and uptowns, and we got plenty of those, so hope you guys enjoy this. And of course, if you guys have any questions, feel free to message me at frostyfeetcards@gmail.com. So one of the biggest reasons we do these inspection videos is so that the owners of the cards get a little bit of empowerment, in my opinion, just because you're able to see things and make that decision. Like these aren't really just for me to look at and be like, oh, you're going to get an 8, get a 9. It's a kind of a teamwork effort, and that way it also limits kind of surprises just because the expectations are kind of set. I measure everything as far as centering goes, but now we're going to take a look at everything else just because we know as far as centering goes, everything here is pretty close, well within PSA 10 ranges. Some of them might be right there with the 55-45, but once again, 60-40 can still net you a PSA 10 based on grader's discretion, which take that with a shade of gray there just because it could swing either way. But let's go ahead and take a look and go from there. And I'll go ahead and post pictures of each card before we go through, and I'll post some values at the end of each card just because I know you guys like that stuff. So let's check it out. First one here we have is Optic, Caleb Williams and Rome Odunze, dual rookie downtown. So let's check it out. Very cool. All right. First thing we'll look is the foundation. So we're going to look at corners and edges, and we'll come back to surface. But nice corner there. Nice top edge. Right corner here looks pretty darn good as well. Right edge is nice and smooth. Bottom right looks great. 90-degree angle. Edge is smooth too. No chips. And left corner here looks nice and 90 degrees. And also the left edge here looks pretty good. Surface. We got something there. A little white thing. It might be just a smudge or debris. Let's just wipe it real quick. And you can see it is gone. So it's not the case. We got some extra fibers right there. Tiny scratch that's appearing in the middle of the screen. You can see that. I would say it's probably a little bit more than tiny, but it is there. Get a little patch of defects right here. Tiny, just a little patch. That one is visible to the naked eye, so I'd say you want to be a little bit cautious about that. And of course, we have a diagonal scratch. It's plain sight. You can see that. You guys already know what I'm probably going to say as far as the grade goes, but we're going to keep going through just to see the rest of the card. You don't want to stop there just because if you find more stuff, it really just determines if you want to grade or not. Let's check this out. So we got 3 white spots here. Let's see if they're on the card, and they are on the card. So one of them's a pit, 2 of them's a pit. You can see the light kind of disappear in those, or not disappear, it turns dark. So it tells you it's in the surface as far as embedded inside. Right looks good. Keep coming down. So we got a couple minor issues on this particular card, but they're enough, in my opinion, at least on the front, because here's that scratch that's coming through too. A couple tiny scratches. Enough to likely give it a 9 just from the front alone. Let's see the back real quick though. Backside we have a pretty nice corner. Minor fraying at the tip, but that's more so from the cut than actual damage. We have a nice smooth top edge, horizontally speaking, and then we have the right corner. You can see that is not a corner ding. It's a little bit of that transparent peel that's coming up. It's very common in a lot of cards. Like I could press it back, and it just depends if it's going to stay or not. But that is a common problem nowadays with at least last year's Prism. Corner looks good there, and this last corner also looks pretty darn good. Left edge has a little bit minor chipping. Outside of that, though, I don't see any kind of indentations on the back, so I would say this card, you're very likely going to end up getting a PSA 9, just based on the combination of issues we saw with surface and potentially a little bit with the corner. So this one, I would say PSA 9 should be the expectation. Next one we have here is a Uptown Bo Nix. Very cool rookie as well, so let's check it out. Once again, we'll go through foundation first. Beautiful corner. Beautiful corner. Nice corners and edges. Bottom's nice and smooth. Bottom left, it's a perfect 90-degree as far as corner goes. Smooth. So once again, beautiful foundation for PSA. Now we're going to go through the surface. Let's check it out. Got a little patch of whatever that is over here. It looks like print defects though. See how they're in the card? Kind of like refracts. Now if it was reflective, or if it was turning dark, you would know that it's actual defect in terms of like a scratch or something that was aftermarket. But when it looks like this and it refracts with the rest of the card, that's typically actually just factory print. Right there. I don't know if that's a scratch or a hair. Let's go ahead and do a quick wipe. Or fiber, whatever it may be. Now it's gone. Tiny scratch right here you can see. But for the most part, it's decently clean. Of course, we have minor print defect. We got something here. You can see how it turns dark. That tells you it's in the card, indented into the card, I should say. So, and that's very common. Indent's probably the wrong choice of word for you guys, just because I don't want you to think it's that serious. But here's another mark here. You can tell that one turns dark, that little scratch. So, definitely have a couple issues on this particular card. Excuse me. So I'd say what, 3-4 minor issues on the front surface. Backside we have a pretty nice corner there. Edge is pretty darn smooth as well. It's not perfect, but it's pretty close. Right corner looks nice. Top edge, a little bit of wear. Right corner here looks good as well. We got, you see that right here? Middle of the screen. You got a little tiny, almost like nail mark indent right there. Naked eye wise, I would tell you not to worry about it, just because you cannot spot it at all. But it is something that you want to think about, because if I can find it, there's also a chance that someone else can find it. Doesn't mean they will, doesn't mean it's serious, but you want to take that into consideration when you're grading as part of your risk. So, nice corner as well. Pretty darn good. As far as that little nail mark goes, like I said, it's not really something you're going to spot unless you're staring at it, but I would tell you this card, same thing. I'd likely fall within a 9 range just because of the surface issues. And it's not just because of the surface issues. It's this design of this card. It is so incredibly simplistic and clean that anything on your surface literally will stand out. Now, if this was like a Mosaic style card where there's a bunch of like glitz and glamour everywhere, it's probably a lot harder to see. Those you can typically get away with a lot more, but these ones, not usually. Next one here we have is a Joe Montana Downtown black and white. All right, beautiful corner. And that's part of the thing. You take out the guesswork. Like, I know a lot of times everything looks great naked eye-wise, but nobody's grading your cards with the naked eye. Granted, they're probably not using a high-powered microscope either, but, you know, somewhere in between. You got a little bit of edge wear right here, you can see. Beautiful corner, though. And we got what, this on the bottom, that's just fibers. And don't worry guys, I wear gloves for everything. Got a couple scratches here on the edge. Then we got ourselves another beautiful corner and edge. So foundation is also pretty good. Seems like a lot of the issues on these cards are going to be surface related. You got something up here, tiny scratch right here. Can't see that one with the naked eye, at least I can't. But it's just, once again, one of those things to start counting up and thinking about. So far, so good outside of that. Little print defect right there, but I'd say right here, little print defect. You can see the vertical. It's not the biggest deal. You can't really tell. It's just me being overly nitpicky. I'm not saying you're going to get a grade deducted for it or anything. It's just there. A couple minor scratches at the bottom. I'd be more concerned with this edge than anything else we actually spotted. This is one thing that's visible for sure. Backside. Beautiful corner. Edge is pretty clean. You got a little bit of minor wear there. Same thing, you can see little chips. Not the biggest deal. It's just something you want to start thinking about as well. Right corner looked good. Bottom right corner, you can see there's extra fibers, but what you're really looking for is if it cuts in to the actual cardstock. You see how it starts rounding, the transparency? It gets the white that's solid, comes straight down, and then it kind of slightly curves in. If it was straight, it wouldn't really be an issue, but when it curves in, you know there's a little bit of corner issue there. Bottom edge, minor chipping. Got a big chunk of extra fiber over there. Clean edge. Aside from that, no indentations, no dings. Same thing. Very likely a PSA 9 as well. There's really not a whole lot wrong with it, but it's the visual eye appeal factor for this one. Next one we have here is a John Elway Uptown. Let's check this one out. Alright, so we got ourselves a beautiful corner. Beautiful corner and edge. Very nice as well, as far as the corner goes. Bottom edge looks clean. Bottom corner here is 90 degrees. Looks beautiful as well. And left edge looks really good. Surface. And like I said, it's really, you're just really trying to find things that stand out. Like that doesn't stand out just because it's likely fibers, and it is. So we like to wipe down everything just to get fingerprints and stuff like that off. Stuff that just doesn't belong there. Tiny hairline scratch that you probably can't even see in the middle of the screen. Right over there, it's diagonal. So those things I don't worry about just because if you can't really see it barely even under the scope, it's not going to be an issue. Like this here has, you can see a little line forming, but the good news is I can't see it at all with the naked eye, but it is there. This side looks pretty good. That is a pit, you can tell just because it turns dark and it still refracts. One little pit won't eliminate you from getting a 10, especially if there's nothing else on here, but it does increase the chance of getting a 9 just by a little bit. You're not looking for a perfect card. You're trying to get a combination of just minimal flaws that are hard to find. There you go. Corner looks good. Edge looks good, this one. Bottom right corner looks pretty good as well. And bottom left corner here looks pretty darn good. And left edge, finishing that off, looks good. No indentations on the back as far as things go. This one I'd say would likely fall between that 9-10. I'd like to say we're closer to the 10 in my opinion. We have one little pit. Kind of depends on centering a little bit. It does look off left or right. I'll post it if I didn't already. We might be right on the border, so maybe we are leaning more towards a 9. Just kind of depends where that centering left or right sits. Next one we have is Joe Burrow, 2020 rookie. So let's check it out. Downtown. Perfectly sharp corner here. Beautiful edge, sharp corner. Coming down, another sharp corner. Oh, we got some extra something here. I'll wipe it down. Maybe a handprint. Some kind of print. There you go. Wipe that down so we're good there. Beautiful. Foundation looks really good on the front. You can see a little bit of a print line, horizontal, coming across. Ends about there in the middle of the screen. So I'd say it runs about maybe a ½ inch or so. Then we got a little print issue right here. But that is probably not going to be something that's going to take away from the grade. The print line more so than the other defect, just because it's really hard to see. Got another minor print line you can kind of see forming. That one is invisible to the naked eye, but it is there. And the scope makes everything just crystal clear. That's kind of why I use it, not because I'm like, oh, look at all these flaws, because you can always find flaws. Once again, you're looking to see where they are and how hard they are to actually find without the scope. Like there's a pit right there, and I can confirm that I see it as well with the naked eye. I got a tiger's face. All right. Round one. And I never saw that tattoo there on the tiger. Bottom looks good too. So very minor issues as far as the front goes. Got a little print line that's horizontal, but outside of that, it's not too bad. One tiny pit. Backside doesn't look bad as far as that goes. Corner's pretty good. Bottom right corner here looks pretty good. You can see the peel is barely coming up, and it's common, like I said, it's all the time. Should not affect the grade of this card, just because when you're looking at it naked eye, you can't tell. But no indentations, nothing like that on the backside. I would say this one is going to be a coin flip. That hairline print line, I can spot it, but it is obviously at certain angles and depends how they tilt it. Worst case scenario is going to be a 9. It's going to be a 9 or better. I do think that one's going to be a tough call. Like my heart says if it was me, I'd be giving it a 9. But if I'm looking at PSA's criteria and I'm looking at just the data we've collected in the past, I'd say you still have a shot at a 10. That's why I don't have a grading company. Next one here is a Bo Nix Donruss. So let's check this one out. Beautiful corner. Beautiful edge, beautiful corner. Another beautiful edge. Absolutely perfect as far as that goes. Extra fibers you can see. Likely we'll see them on the back a little bit more, but front side looks pretty darn good. So the card itself, as far as that goes, looks pretty nice. It's got some interesting, like you guys, I don't know if you can see how it's like darker over on this side and then it's lighter. So I don't know if they're just clouds. They look like they're shaped of clouds, but I don't have any kind of point of reference. So if they're clouds, you're going to be good. If not, it looks like it might be a surface defect. I'm not sure. I'll have to take a look at other copies of this card online, but I just find it a little bit odd as far as that goes. Either way, though, we'll probably skip that. And we'll come down. And the rest of this card is beautiful surface-wise. There's nothing on here. Backside, let's double check. Nice corner. And these edges are never going to be perfectly smooth compared to the Optic cards, just a different cut. But pretty good for the most part. You got a tiny chip right there on the surface. Literally almost not going to be an issue. You see these little jagged marks. We've actually graded multiple copies of this card before, and believe it or not, there's been some that look way worse than this edgewise and has gotten a 10, so can't rule it out, man. I was surprised by a few of these, but you can see down here we got the right side corner, same thing. It is technically there. There's technically no damage. However, it's just a funky cut. Then we got the bottom edge here slowly chipping away. You can see that. It's just extra fibers. It's supposed to be cut nicely, but Panini didn't sharpen their blades. They're trying to get everything out before they lose their license. And same thing, little chippy edges. And Brian, you know how I feel about these edges. I don't like them, but we've already graded plenty of these, like I said before. We have received 10s back with edges like that or worse. I would tell you, realistically speaking, I'm more concerned if those aren't clouds on the front. But outside of that, this card, between that 9-10, I always think it's going to be a 9 when I see edges like that, but sometimes we are surprised. Maybe it'll be better. Who knows? Next one here we have is the Rated Rookie Red Wave Optic Bo Nix. So this one, I could tell you looking at it, eyeball-wise, top to bottom centering is pretty good. Left to right could be right on the cusp. But I went ahead and posted that for you guys so you know better than I do right now when I'm looking at it. Nice edges, nice corners, beautiful foundation. Then we got surface-wise. And these cards are... This is not a base card, I know you guys know that, but under the scope, you just cut through all the pizzazz. And that's another reason why I love it, just because I can tell what's actually an issue and what isn't. So far you guys can see it's pretty darn good. Got maybe a hint of a tiny print line there, but that is invisible thanks to all the waves. But not a single scratch on this surface, man. Front is beautiful. Backside, let's check it out. Very nice corner, no white at the tip, not even a touch. You can see it all the way through. Top edge, decently clean. I'd say it's pretty good. Right side, not a single touch of white either. Beautiful right edge. Bottom right corner looks really good. Bottom edge is nice and clean. And bottom left looks really, really nice. Only thing barring this thing from potential 10, in my opinion, could be centering, but we'll double check. You might be on the cusp. This one might be at the grader's discretion based on centering, but outside of that, as you guys can see, there's really no issues. So I'd say it does have a very good shot at a PSA 10. Next one we have is a pink Holo Bo Nix. Same thing, right to left, a little bit off, but overall, I think this one's going to be well within the 55-45. Nice corners, nice edge. Once again, a very nice corner. Bottom edge is nice and smooth. Left side looks pretty darn good too. So beautiful foundation. Checking out the front surface. And let me know what you guys want to see. I mean, like I said, I typically have avoided values in the past, but go ahead and put some stuff up just because I get asked a lot about it. It's not a scratch, that's a fiber. There you go, just wipe it off. And sometimes it's worth wiping down your cards one more time before you send them in just to get any kind of last dust, particles, or debris off. And that is, like I said, don't want it to be mistaken for like a scratch when you send it in. But this card looks pretty good. There's a tiny, I think that's a scratch right there. You can see the light kind of turns dark. So that one right there is a tiny, tiny scratch that you're not going to notice without the scope. But it is there. So one tiny issue as far as that goes. Not enough to not give it a 10. Beautiful corner there. Nice edge. Nice corner as well. There's no whitening there. Corner here looks pretty good. It's not perfect, but it's really not bad. No actual damage there. And left side here, same thing, very nice. And we're going to let the left edge looks good. No indentations, no vampire teeth, no marks, nothing like that. This card, I do believe, has a very good shot at a PSA 10. If it was my card, I'd probably grade it. Next one here we have is a Bo Nix football emoji. Now let's check it out. So beautiful corner, you can see perfectly sharp, 90 degrees. Come down. Top edge looks great. Right corner has a weird funky reflection, tells me it's not laying flat. Technically there's no damage to it, but I just don't like the way that sits. Right edge, nice and smooth and clean. Bottom right corner, once again, funky reflection. You can see when I tilt it, it almost looks like there's a minor flip up. Naked eye wise, you can't see this. You'll be like, oh, corner looks fantastic. But when we see it like this, sometimes it's enough to make you kind of think twice about sending it. And same thing, third corner you can see. Technically it is 90 degrees, but you can see kind of how it lifts up a little bit, creates a little bit of illusion that it could be dented. So that is something you want to consider before sending in. The reason I say that is because we have one perfect corner here. There's zero doubt how it lays flat, zero doubt that it's 90 degrees. It looks fantastic. The other three corners don't. So now if all four corners look like the same, then there's something to go from there. But typically with this, I'd proceed with caution because it's a big swing. Depends what the grader thinks. On top of that, you got a little bit of, I believe that's a scratch, but use a fiber real quick, wipe it down. Nope. Debris. Looks really nice here though. I do not see any kind of scratches or defects. You got tiny little print defect here. Almost looks like a vertical scratch, but it is not visible to the naked eye. And overall, it doesn't look too bad at all. Wipe that down right here. It looks like there was a little dot, and there is a little dot. See that? That's a pit. So, depending on the corners, like I said, if the corner was like the first one, top left, it'd be great, but the other three is kind of what's making me think a little bit. Granted, obviously, it's going to be your decision. And this one would be at the grader's discretion overall in terms of things go. Now, if it was me grading this card, I'd give something like this an 8 because of that. Doesn't mean it's actually an 8 just because it depends on who's looking at it. Now, you guys see this. What do you think? We'll move this one along. And then the last one here we have is a Jayden Daniels Mosaic Notoriety. This is yellow. Beautiful card. I think I want to remember it's nicely centered as well. Perfect 90 degrees. Beautiful edge. 90 degrees. Looks great. Right edge looks good. Bottom right, fantastic. Bottom left looks really good as well. Same with the left edge. So perfect foundation as far as that goes. Surface wise, let's see what we can spot, if anything. I'll let you guys know if I spot anything. Shoot, let me know if you spot anything. Now we got, more eyes. Let's see. Turn this into a community grading pool. That'd be kind of cool, actually. But then you'll have, like, people that just hate everything. Graded cards 5516. Here you go. So very nice. I mean, no scratches, no pits, nothing you can see. And these are not print lines right here. The reason I say this, so Mosaic can throw you off, but it's a cadence. Like, I think it's every couple squares. 1, 2, 3, 4. Here's another line, and then we're going to have a perfectly cadenced line here. So that's just part of the design with the way it is with the square patterns. Backside, let's check it out. Nice corner there. No touch of white, nothing like that. Beautiful top edge. Right corner here looks really good as well. You can see, no white. Bottom right corner, not a touch of white, but you can see the little peel there is slowly starting to creep up. That's turning it slightly transparent, but it is not technically white. And last corner here looks really good. I think this one's got a really strong shot at a PSA 10. So there you guys have it. Brian, obviously you know what to do. Just let me know what you want to do as far as the submissions go. What do you guys think? So I'm going to go ahead and put up the, obviously I put up the values already. So you guys, if you guys want to join in and just in the madness and decide what would you do if these were your cards, kind of see what you saw, right? And that's really the whole point here, is to not make that decision yourself, because sometimes if they're your cards, it's really easy to be biased. I know there's people that have looked at their cards before and thought they'd get a PSA 10, and they've already spent the money before the card came back, and then the card came back not what they expected, and they get extra pissed off. So we try to do what we can here to help you avoid that feeling. Granted, we're usually pretty good about it. Not perfect. If it was perfect, it'd be fantastic, but we're pretty damn close. But either way, if you guys have questions, once again, feel free to reach out to me at frostyfeetcards.com. We will have more submissions. We will have more inspections. We'll have a bunch of stuff coming your way. Appreciate you guys as always. Have a wonderful week.
Feet cards, yeah, we keep it tight. Willie Mays, Clemente, we shining so bright. Sandy Pro Facts, Hank Aaron legends never die. As we reveal the grades, we reach for the sky.